So y'all, I just unintentionally discovered that you can create an entire website on Canva completely free.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now come on now.
What's up, icons? It's the iconic fashion figure. So how about this? I was on Canva doing some work like I normally would be doing, and I unintentionally discovered that you can create a full website on Canva completely free. So let me show you how to do this because this is crazy. So on canva.com, I'm already on the page, but in the search bar, if you just type in website, it'll give you a bunch of different templates that you can use. Some of these are completely free. Some of them you actually have to have the paid version of or actually pay for the templates. So if you see the little symbol in the lower right corner, that'll tell you if it's free or if it's a paid template. But scroll through these, there's a bunch of them on here that you can use. If you put your mouse over a template, you'll see that it'll flip through pages so you can see what the other pages of the website look like. Just keep scrolling through, see if there's any that you like in here. There's a bunch to choose from. But if you prefer to create your own website like I'm about to show you guys how to do, go to the top where it says create a design, type in website there, and then click website. That'll give you a completely blank canvas that you can start with from scratch. That'll create the dimensions for you so you don't have to create the dimensions. But if you decide last minute that you still want a template, it's not too late. You can still go in from the blank canvas and add in a template. And here you can search by category. You can type in the search bar what it is you're looking for or choose one of their categories and find a template for yourself. But again, if you prefer to start from completely scratch like I'm about to do, you can skip the template step and we'll go into actually creating your website from scratch. So first we'll start with creating the landing page or the home page. So this is the page that is really supposed to represent your brand and shows what your brand is all about. So that way you can get people to continue scrolling on your website or click on other pages. What is your brand about? What do you offer? What do you sell? So usually that landing page usually has like a picture or video or a carousel of the different products and images, videos of what you offer. And then I'll go in and add like the menu on the top where usually people will have a logo. You can have your business name. You can do both together. On mine, I also put in my social media icons because you can click on those and go follow social media, learn more about the brand as well. Or sometimes people will put like a subscribe button on there where you can click that and subscribe to a newsletter. Whatever you want to put on that menu, you can choose not to have a menu at all and it would just be that landing image or landing video. We're starting from completely scratch, so you have full creative control here of what you want this to look like. Now you can go look on other websites that you're inspired by, or let's say like on Pinterest too, and that'll help you get an idea of what you want. Look for some inspiration and then come up with your own idea of what you want your landing page to look like. This is all you. This is about your brand, so make sure it matches your brand's aesthetic and do what it is that you feel fits your brand best. Now once I feel like I've come up with something for my landing page, I'll go in and start linking everything that needs a link. So like the shop button, because I want to take it to the shop page whenever anyone clicks on it, I'll click the link and you can link it to the shop slide. You'll already have to have that slide created though, and then you'll also link like the logo or your brand name, so it always links back to the home page. And of course the social media links, link it to your social media accounts. I've shown you guys how to create links in my digital business card video, but if you guys haven't seen that video yet, basically click the item that you're trying to link in the top right corner, click on that icon that looks like two chains, and then you add in the URL. So let me quickly show you how to create the other pages because I kind of already did it and didn't show you guys. You'll need these to be able to link to other pages. So you can either click that little icon that's kind of like a box with the plus in the corner, or you can just click add page right below the page that you're working on. And then in that space that's next to page 1, page 2, page 3, you're going to type in the title of that page. So like the home page, put home. I did about us and then shop so far. I'm also going to just go ahead and do a contact page. So those are the 4 pages you guys will see in this video. But you'll want to make sure whatever you put next to the page number is the title that you want to show in your menu, because that information will show on the menu on your website. Next is the About Us page, and of course this is just where you're explaining your brand, what your brand is about, what your brand has to offer. You can also do, like I said in a previous video, personal branding. Start talking about the CEO, what you're about, and how you got started and things like that. You can talk about you as well. On this page, you can also put your frequently asked questions. So if people have any type of questions about your brand, they will see the answers here. Or you can create a completely separate page for that. I'm not going to actually create one in this video, but you can easily do that as well, or add it on the About Us page. Otherwise, this page is just for you to talk about your brand and what you're about. And now for the shop page, because I know you guys are all waiting for that part. But the shop page, this is where you're going to add your products that you are selling or your service that you are offering, so people can actually buy it. You're going to notice that my shop page will change a few times because I'm starting out with just trying to figure out the style that I want for this page. Remember, we have full creative control, so we can do whatever we want. But I'm pretty much just trying to find a frame that I want to use for the images, figuring out the colors, and then adding the layout for the information needed, like the style number, the description, the pricing. But once I figure out somewhat of a style, those are the three main things I want on there. Style number. Every item should have some type of style number or SKU, and if you don't understand that, I have created a video on style numbers versus SKU, so I'll link that in the description box for you. And then put in a brief description, and then of course the price. Everyone needs to know what they're paying for and how much they're paying, so you'll add in pricing as well. And then once you have your layout, you'll duplicate that for however many items you have. For me, I put a total of 4 on one page. I don't recommend going more than 4, just because on the mobile version, the pictures will get smaller, like everything shrinks to fit on a smaller screen. More items, it'll be harder to see, or they may even get cut off the page. So I would do 4 per page, and you can add more pages if you need to. I actually would say that 3 is probably best on a page, but this is also really good for those of you that are only selling like 1 or 2 products, and everyone's always nervous about, should I have a full store to have a website? This is a good free website to use if you only have like 1 or 2 items, because then this layout can turn into more like a collage of a bunch of different pictures or videos, or a combination of the 2 of the products that you offer, or the 1 product that you offer. But once you have your layout, you figure out how many items you're going to put on a page, we're then going to add the buy button, and this is where people will be able to click and check out. So once I do that, I'm just going to use the same button from the home page, which was the shop now button. It's going to become my buy now button. I'll just make it smaller, and we'll have to change the link, which next I'll show you guys how to actually create the link so people can check out. So now for the payment link, I created mine on stripe.com just because I already have the account there. I would say SquareUp would probably be better for this, but I don't remember my login information there. So I'm going to go in and create a new product link on here. You'll start out by adding the style number, entering your description. This you can go more detailed in the description compared to what you did on Canva, and then of course adding your pricing. Offer a service with a reoccurring pricing, like a monthly cost. You can do reoccurring, or you can do one time. And then adding your photo too. I was lazy and didn't want to go find the photo that I needed to match the actual product, so I just threw in a random image, but put in your actual product image, and then you guys can see what it looks like for the customer. So the payment page and the checkout page. And then there's also the mobile version too. Apple Pay is available for iPhone users. You can add promo codes on here. You can collect the address, so anyone that is shipping product, I recommend collecting addresses because you're gonna need that in order to ship. But even if you don't ship anything, I recommend at least doing the billing address to make sure it matches the card that's being entered to avoid fraud. For pricing, I also recommend adding in the shipping cost into the pricing if you don't offer free shipping. And the reason being, there is a section in Stripe that allowed me to add in shipping services and the cost for the service, but every time I tested out the checkout, it did not apply the ship, which means your customers wouldn't be paying for shipping. So I would add it into the item cost, so that way you can collect your shipping amount. Otherwise, they won't be paying for shipping. And then you can collect phone numbers as well, which I recommend doing, and then allowing them to adjust the quantity. I also would check mark that, so that way if they want to buy more than one, they can go ahead and do so. And then the other thing you can do is the confirmation page. You can customize that. You can keep it their standard confirmation page, or you can customize it and add like a return policy on there if you want to. The one drawback to this is that on Stripe, you can only check out on one item. So if your website offers more than one item, people will have to check out one at a time. They couldn't just add to cart and check out. But I would say a way to work around that is create bundles on your website. So let's say you offer 2 items. They can either buy one individually, or they can purchase a bundle and buy both items that you offer. But now that we created our payment link, we're going to publish that, copy the link, and then we're going to go back into Canva. Now we're back in Canva and we already have the link copied. So all we have to do is paste it on each of the elements for style 1. You'll create a link for each style because the links will be different. But when you're pasting the link in for each style, I recommend adding it into all elements for that style. So that means the picture, the text, and the button, because you'll be surprised how many times people will say they tried to buy an item and they couldn't, and it's just because they may be clicking on the text and that doesn't direct them to the link, or they may be clicking on the picture but you only pasted the link on the button. I highly recommend adding the link to the picture, the text, and the button, so that way if people click on the wrong area, it'll still direct them to the checkout option. Now I'm gonna publish the website as is, just so I can show you that the checkout link actually does work. Like, this is what it'll look like for your customers. But then we'll go back into finishing the website. So when they click on the buy now, it takes them directly to checkout. They can go in, they can add a promo code, they will put in their email, shipping information, billing information if it's different from shipping, phone number, and then credit card information, and then they'll click pay. It's really simple and easy to do. And then now we'll get back into Canva so we can actually finish creating the website. And now on to our last page, the contact page. This is where you're going to add in your business contact information. So an email contact, phone number, you can put in your location, you can put in business hours. Now if you want to put in location, there is a feature in here where you can add in Google Maps. And then I'm also going to add in a contact form, which I'm getting ready to show you guys how to add in these additional features. So if you go to the 3 dots that says more in the lower left corner, you can add in a bunch of additional features. I'm gonna do the contact form, which I'll use Typeform. Now you have to have an account in order to connect this to Canva, which I don't have an account, so I'm gonna go create the account really quick and then I'll show you how to connect a contact form into Canva. My Typeform account is now created, so I'm gonna go ahead and log in, and then we're gonna go ahead and create the contact form. Now they have a bunch of templates on here that you can use, or you can manually create your own contact form. I'm just going to use their template so that way I can make this quick and easy. So once you get into the template, you'll see that they have, all the pages on there. You can go in and you can change up the wording. You can add additional options or remove some of the options for the questions. Whatever it is you need to do to the contact form, you can make those adjustments. I'm going to leave the contact form as is for video purposes, but you guys go ahead and do what you need to make that contact form fit your needs. The only thing that I will go and do is change the colors for this contact form just so that it can fit my aesthetic of my website that I'm showing you guys in this video. And then once I create the form the way I want it, or at least change the colors to the way I want it, I'm gonna go ahead and publish this form, and then we're gonna go back into Canva so we can actually import it into our new free website. Back in Canva, we can now connect our Typeform account, and then we can go ahead and import the contact form. So the form you already created should automatically show up. All you have to do is click it. Once you click it, it'll populate on its own. You'll just size it on how you want it to fit on this page and where you want it at on this page. And once you do that, that's it. It's already on there and working. All people have to do is click the pop us a message or whatever your button says and actually send you a contact form. I'll publish the website really quickly so that way you guys can see how the contact form works, because it actually does work. So this is how the customers will see it. When they go to contact, they'll click on the pop us a message, and then I'll just go ahead and fill out the form as like a test form just so you guys can see that it actually works. So once I actually submit the form, to see the response, I have to go into the Typeform website. You won't get your responses in Canva. Canva. You're gonna actually receive them in Typeform. But once you're in Typeform, you can see all the responses that you received to your form. And then I went back in Canva and made one slight adjustment to the contact us page, just because as I was looking at the actual published website, this just felt like it was missing. So I just added that title for contact us. You don't have to do this, but to me it looked like it needed it, and once I show you guys the final results of the website, you'll see it. Another thing that I did was I added in this arrow to the lower right corner of all the pages. I also added in this lookbook page, which I'll show you guys how I did in a second because I didn't film it, but I went back just so I can show you guys the quick steps. But for the arrow, I created the arrow because let's say you're scrolling all the way to the bottom of a website. Most people don't want to have to scroll all the way back to the top, but if you click that arrow, it'll take you back to the top. So all I did was add in an arrow and then link it to the home page, and I added it to every page that's below, you know, like the first 2 pages. That way if they're scrolling down to the bottom, just click that arrow and it'll take you back to the top. I do want to point out as well, whatever you title this document up at the top, that is what's going to show on your actual website for the title of the website. So be mindful of what you put at the top because that is going to show to your viewers. And now for this random lookbook page that I just decided to add in, I just wanted to add in more photos so it didn't look so basic and boring. It just gave it a little more life. So all I did was add in another blank page and then go to grids, and I added in a grid. You can choose any of these grids that you want. I just chose the 3 pictures side by side, but if you click on whatever grid, it'll automatically size to the page size, so you don't have to adjust it. Once you have the grid on there, you'll just go in and add the pictures you want to add. You can put this after the home page like I did, or you can move this page around wherever you want it on your website. So the last thing that I'm going to show you guys before I finally get into the actual published website, and that is the product page, because most websites actually have a product page. Normally you'll see the shop page and you click on an item, it'll take you to the product page so you can view more pictures, more information about it. I personally did not do product pages just because I'm going to use the actual checkout page on Stripe as the product page, but also because once it's published, that product page actually shows up in the menu, where on websites the product page usually does not show up in the menu. You just have to click it and you see it, but it's usually hidden from the menu. And I couldn't figure out a way in Canva to actually hide a page from showing in the menu, so that style 1 would actually be an item in the menu, and I didn't want that. I even tried taking out the title next to the page number to see if it would hide it, but Canva just created their own title for it. So I chose not to do product pages. If you don't mind the product page being in your menu, by all means go ahead and create a product page and style it however you would like, add in any additional information and pictures that you want. But I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I just want to show you guys you can do that as well if you prefer. So now let me get into actually publishing the website, because there's a few different styles that you can use when you go to publish the website. So I'm going to show you the few different styles, and then I'll show you the one that I actually use that works with the layout I just created. So let's finally publish this website so you guys can see the final result. There's a few different options as far as the ways to publish it, like presentation. I didn't use presentation because it comes with those arrows. It's like an actual presentation, not a website. Then you have scrolling, which I did like, but there was a couple different things that were coming out messed up as far as the layout I created. Otherwise I would have chose scrolling if it wasn't messed up. Then you have the classic navigation, which is a multi-page website. And for the multi-page website, basically as soon as you go to the website, you're looking at the home page. You can't do any type of scrolling or anything on the classic website. You actually have to use the menu to click on to the next page. But that didn't quite work out on my layout as well, and once I go into the classic view, I'll show you. The one I chose is the standard. That is just like the scrolling version where it's like a single page website and you just scroll down. It just didn't have those scrolling effects, but that was okay with me. I like the layout of this one because it fit the website I created, so I went with the standard. But before I go into showing you the standard that I created, let me show you guys the actual classic navigation. So this is a classic navigation. When you're on there, you're right on the home page. There's no scrolling you can do. You can click on that shop button that I created, but you can't do anything else other than use the menu at the top. So like you can click on the lookbook and it'll take you to that page. On the screen you guys can't see it, but there was like some negative space at the bottom that I just couldn't fix. I could take away this page, but I couldn't fix that negative space. piece. Then you have like the About Us, which is fine. I wouldn't need that arrow anymore just because you can click home at the top. So that was for the scrolling version for the arrows. Then you have the shop, which is fine here too, and then the contact us as well is fine. Next we have the scrolling option, which you guys will see as I scroll down. You have that like scrolling effect, which I actually like. You'll notice it once I get to like the About Us, you'll really see it scroll up. But the issue that I had with this one is on the home page. If you look at that top bar I created, it's not actually at the top, and I couldn't figure out how to fix that. The standard view is the one that I went with, and it worked for my layout, so this was perfect for me. It's a single page website, so you can actually scroll through it, but it still has the menu at the top as well if you want to click to a page. I didn't have to worry about my top bar not actually being at the top. Like, that stayed in place, no problem, and there's no negative space in here. So the standard just worked for me. All my links are working with no problem, so I can go to Instagram or any of my other social medias, or use that shop now button to drop down to the shop page. I can go to the actual shop page and look at some of the items on there and actually click it and go to checkout with no problem. So all that is working, including like the contact form that actually worked as well. So standard is the layout that worked for me. So now let me show you guys the mobile version of this same website, and it'll be in the standard version. So this is the mobile website. You can scroll through the single page website just like before, and it also has the menu at the top. All the links work, so you can go into Instagram or any of the social media accounts. It'll just open up the actual app if the person has it on their phone. But once they get to social media, you can go back and use the shop now button, and it'll drop you right down to the shop. Then they also can click the menu and they can see the menu at the top, or they can go ahead and go to checkout, and that'll take you over to Stripe. When you can check out with Apple Pay if you want. It does actually work. Trying to block out my info, but Apple Pay actually does work. Or you can just do the normal way and use a credit card for the actual checkout. Now, the one thing I do want to point out, when you share the URL, so the link for your website after you create it on Canva, you can't use your own personal domain. You have to use the link that they provide to you. So it's going to be canva.com and a bunch of random characters. That's like the biggest thing that stuck out to me, that is kind of like the drawback to doing this. But I mean, you get what you pay for. It is free, so I guess you can't complain too much. But of course, there's always workarounds with a lot of this stuff. So if you're creating like a hyperlink that you're sending out to like people in emails and stuff like that, you can basically hide hyperlinks by putting in your text that you want to show, but have that text redirect them to the Canva website. So that way people don't see that actual hyperlink, but they see whatever wording. So you will put like your business name if you want to. Or you can even use websites like Bitly and stuff like that that will recreate a link for you, but again, it's not your own personal domain, so you might as well use the one that Canva is giving you. If I come up with any other workarounds, I'll be sure to post it so you guys know how to hide that Canva link. But I think that was the major thing that stuck out to me if you were to do a free website on Canva. This free website is probably not for everyone anyway. The ones that I really thought of when I saw this, I know a lot of you are starting out just by posting product on Instagram, but you don't have anywhere to redirect your customers to. Or some of you simply just don't want to pay for a website. This is a free way to do it. So I figured that will help some of you guys out to be able to create a free website. So again, this may not be for everyone, but it is worth the try. I'll also try to include a template of the website I created down in the description box, so that way you guys can use that as a guide and you don't have to start completely new. But of course, you want to redesign your entire website on your own, by all means go ahead and do that. That's completely up to you guys, but I want to help those of you that want to be able to do it quickly. This whole thing just made me feel like a web developer for real doing this, because I created this completely from scratch, it feels like. So it's a free website, no coding whatsoever. That's nice. But I hope that helps some of you guys, especially those of you that are looking for a free way to create a website. If I come across anything else, any other tips I can think of, you guys already know I'm gonna show you. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.